Nice. Paste that link. Very good. Okay. Before I get started on the online Mario Kart, there's actually one thing I wanted to do, which is, how do I add an emote? Let's see here. Press home to exit. Okay, sure, fine. Better ETV. Hello, Gotron. Every time I see a bad guy that has a point, at this point I just roll my eyes. Yeah, it feels kind of like strange that they constantly go for the bad guy that has a point or something. Because it's just a way of admitting that, like, well, admitting, I guess it's like, if you're gonna have the conflict be ideological, have the conflict be ideological, in which case there can't really be a clear bad guy that has a point, right? Like, if the bad guy has a point, then the conflict is ideological, and they're not really a bad guy, per se. Does that make sense? Like, if they do the thing where it's like, oh, they go insane, but they still, like, there's an underlying point there, the main character, in order for it to be a good story, the main character has to learn that that point is correct and incorporate it into their view of the world. You know, it's way too easy to just write the bad guy that has a point, and the point is legitimate, but you just kind of dismiss the point because the bad guy also, like, kills a lot of people. You know? In Captain America, he's like, you gotta do better. And the president's like, you're right, I should destroy the country better. Basically, the relationship between Democrats and Republicans right now. And if you're talking about the new Captain America, I haven't seen that one. I don't plan to see it, so. Here, I'm going to take a suggestion from chat. And I'm going to add a, I'm going to add an emote. Really mediocre, just letting you know? Okay. Again, I'm not going to watch it, because I don't care for it. Here, hold on. Where's the fell for it again emote? Ranker faces. I'm trying to add the fell for it again to the Twitch chat so you guys can use it. I'm actually quite invested in this because, you know, it'd be great. Emotes. Hey, let's we should have a Majora's Mask warning every day. Yeah, that's true. Apparently last night the tariffs on China went into effect. The 104% cumulative tariffs. Yeah, 3 days since the tariffs. What was Infinite Wall? It's okay. Fell for it. Really? Here, hold on. Fell for it again. Twitch emotes. Huh. I guess it's not that easy to find. People are being like, how am I supposed to upgrade my computer now? Yeah. Lucky for me, I actually don't need my computer to be upgraded. The most I might need would have been a, like, replacement for one of my internal storage drives. But I actually downloaded a free software that can let you monitor the health of those drives. And it said, yeah, no, your drives are actually pretty good. Like 95 to 99% health. So I guess I'm big chillin' right now. I already got the shit I need. Here, I'm gonna, I was gonna say I could just copy the emote from Vosh's channel, because I know he has it. Instead, Fell for it again meme. Let's see. Where is fell for it again meme MAGA? Let's see. There we go. This is a good one. I'm gonna do this the difficult way. Upgrade my computer in December. Nice. The despair people feeling right now is the same as when I realized Trump won. Yeah, it's the eternal curse of the left is that you always realize and feel things too right too early. You know? Here, let's just save this to pictures as fell for it again. Very nice. That's JPEG. Yeah. We made a mistake. Leftist looks at them like first time. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're just picking up on this now. That's crazy. Now that fucking old man consequences has come to collect on your ass. You know? Let's go to Better TTV and upload an emote. Pages are taking forever. Thinks in the future people won't have iPhones. I mean, he's right. We don't have the capability to manufacture them in the United States. We depend on the raw materials from other countries in order to manufacture them. There are some materials that are in an iPhone that can be harvested, collected, and manufactured in the United States. But that comes at a premium because labor in the US is more expensive than labor in other countries. That's why we outsource jobs, because labor is cheaper overseas, right? There is some stuff in an iPhone you literally cannot find within the borders of the United States. Imagine your child looking at you and saying, what is an iPhone? Oh, to live in that world. I would be happy to live in a world where iPhones exist. Now, don't exist. Now, smartphones in general, on the other hand, yeah, no, that would suck. No, seriously. You know, they rely on internal batteries. Every smartphone has an internal battery, right? It's not the same kind of battery that needs to be charged, right? But there is also that battery. So every electronic device that is portable has at least two batteries inside of it. And in order to have a battery that is storage of power, you have to have lithium. Lithium batteries are, well, the main kind of battery that everyone around the world uses. You can't really get lithium in the US. We get lithium from Bolivia, mostly, I think. But you know, they're not going to be trading with us that much anymore. We put tariffs on a lot of countries, and a lot of times what happens is that it's not just a one-to-one, something gets manufactured elsewhere and then shipped to the US. A lot of times there are different stages in the manufacturing process. There are several different steps that they go through where they could cycle through 2 or 3 different countries, not to mention the fact that even the stuff that we can get in the United States, it's usually cheaper to make elsewhere. Copper, plastic, all that stuff, most of that is manufactured overseas. Copper wiring, especially, the chips, silicon chips that are in electronic devices, all that shit gets manufactured in like Taiwan or Southeast Asia or wherever the hell else, right? And like I said, there's this multi-step process. There are many, many different middlemen in a very complex supply chain before it reaches the store shelf. Hell, before it even reaches the assembly line, where you put all the parts together. The parts have to be made and forged and that sort of shit, So yeah, I could see a smartphone in the United States being a legitimate luxury item in the future because of the way that we've completely destroyed international supply lines coming to our country. We haven't destroyed the relationships that other countries have with each other. We've damaged their economy very severely because, we were a part of that integrated trade relationship. But that doesn't necessarily stop them from getting the stuff that we ordinarily would also be getting. It cuts us out of the equation, which hurts everybody else. But it doesn't necessarily cut them out of the equation vis-a-vis like all their trade partners, if that makes sense. Another one. And another one. Feel like we'll get a revolution on Christmas Eve? Maybe. I mean, Vosh had a point when he said that, like, Here I go agreeing with Vosh again. I guess this just makes me a Vosh orbiter at this point. But like the Republican Party and the Trump administration really is acting like they don't care whether there's a government left in a year from now. You know? Like there's not really going to be a United States left to run this time next year at the rate that they're going. Explore emotes. How do I upload an emote? Upload. Perfect. Okay. Donald Trump will be the last president? Possibly. Unless we get another FDR, in which case we are so fucking back. But otherwise, I think actually, yes. He might be either the last or the second to last president of the United States. In its current form, at least. This country's not gonna last that long. If this is the direction that we're going. That was a joke, kind of. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't see the future, right? What I do know is that the United States is not going to resemble anything that it looked like in the 20th century about 2 years from now. How bad is it that living Invincible's universe would be better? That's pretty bad. For anybody who did, like, that's a good shorthand. For anybody who's not super cued in on all the, like, complex shit that I actually am not qualified to talk about here because you would need to be a PhD level economist to understand this. Trade relationships and alliances have been so decimated, and the economic crash we're experiencing is so disastrous, it would genuinely be better to be living in the world of Invincible, where, like, Viltrumites are coming to Earth every other week and fucking wrecking everybody's shit. You know? Anyways, where is that image that I saved? There it is. Fell forward again. .jpeg. Okay, let's open this with Paint. Here, you know what? I'll even show you guys this. Let's see. Looking at monitor. Perfect. Let's move my camera down here. Wait. Okay, it's a little small. Oh, now it's too big. Okay. Let's properties. Let's do this window capture. I'm making a new emote. Cancel. Yay! What? It's not doing anything. Paint 3D. It's not doing anything. Okay, never mind. Back to the capture card. Sorry, you guys are just gonna have to take my word for what's happening. Alright, so we've got this image. Let's crop this so it's nice and square. Uh-huh. We'll do that. And then... Actually, I should probably... Alright, I'll crop it from the bottom like so. Just so I have a little bit more generous dimensions to work with. Then what I'll do... Gamers are going to have a rough time. Yeah, and frankly, I think gamers deserve it. Gamers are such treatlers, dude. It's kind of crazy. With height. Let's see, resize image with canvas. Yes, sir. 712 by 712. Perfect. Okay, now it's nice and square. And I'm going to resize it down to first 640 by 640. And then save that as a square image. Where is the... Oh, I had a folder for this, I think. Pictures. I swear I had a folder for this. If you showed the average person concentrated wealth, they'd get frustrated no matter what they believe. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, we see that borne out in polling data. The majority of Americans, Republicans and Democrats alike, believe that the rich are not paying enough in taxes. Maybe it's in this folder or not. Really me. Where's my emotes folder? Do I not have one? That's unfortunate. Emotes. Let's just do that. Fell for it square. You have so much more money than you. Multiplication isn't enough to explain it. Yeah, legitimately, multiplication is not enough to explain how much money the wealthy have in relation to everybody else. In fact, one thing that skews that number to be more equal than it actually is that the wealthy control something like 30 to 40% of the GDP, but the GDP represents economic movement and circulation of wealth. Every 100 bucks of GDP is probably or every 1,000 or $10,000 in the GDP is probably only about 10% as large in reality. So basically, $100 changes hands a lot of times, right? Let's say it changes hands 10 times. You know, somebody spends it on a utility bill, the utility company spends it on other stuff, you know, somebody spends it on this, on that, and whatever. That $100 goes back and forth a bunch of times, and that's counted in the GDP as the sum of all of the times that it's gone back and forth, right? So if somebody spends $100 and then somebody else spends $100, and basically that cycle happens 10 times, that $100 is counted as $1,000 in the GDP, right? So every when you're looking at how much GDP the poor have, like the working class, divide that by probably anywhere from 10 to 100, and you'd get a more accurate picture of how much money is actually in the hands of the bottom 50 to 90% of society, right? Because they have a sufficiently strenuous economic situation that they constantly have to spend money on stuff to maintain their quality of life, right? Meanwhile, the wealthy that control 40-ish% of the GDP, or maybe it's more. I haven't seen the statistic that's updated to 2025, if we have it. The last I saw of it was Thomas Piketty's book, which was like 2020, I think. That is almost exactly the number that we're capable of seeing, by the way. You know, there's more money in offshore accounts that we can't really track very well. That is about 1-to-1, right? So when it says, oh, rich people have like I don't fucking know. What's 40% of the US GDP? It's something like $12 trillion. That's actually $12 trillion. It's not like $100 billion that's just circulated a bunch of times, right? Because that money's not circulating. It's just sitting there. Does that make sense? Emote code. Fell for it. Fell for it. 112 by 112. Okay, I can resize this to 112. There we go. Is there any actual news? Because the only thing I've seen is excuses from Republicans. Not much. Not to my knowledge, anyway. What was I seeing here? Yeah, no, the news I was going to talk about today is not related to the tariffs directly. I think I've said all I can say about the tariffs, right? You know, what else is there even for me to say? This is the complete collapse of like American hegemony. What's the emote guidelines? Can't be... Oh, wait. Emote guidelines. Duplication. No, I don't think I can do that, actually. Shit. Dang it. I just spent a bunch of time on that to realize, wait, I probably can't make that emote. Anyways. If there's a way to make the fell for it again emote so that it's local and available on my channel, then I'll do that. But I don't think I'd be able to do it through Better TTV. Probably have to do it somewhere else. Imagine a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game with the main character trying to make everybody else wage slaves. Probably a YouTube tutorial about it. I'm sure there is. I'll go find that later. What I did want to talk about is some gaming news, Mario Kart news, Mario Kart World. People are already, there's a lot of discourse about that game. I'm not going to comment too much on the gameplay itself because it's still early. I kind of don't know what the final game is going to look like. There were some oversights that I saw that were like, oh yeah, obviously that should be fixed. Where it was like, in online play, somebody could get hit by an item on their screen, but then the other person wouldn't hit them on their screen, and they would keep that item. And from a netcode perspective, that seems like it could cause a lot of problems, so that should probably be fixed by the time the game releases. You know? But yes, the thing I saw most people talking about was indeed the price tag. And if I'm being honest, people gotta fucking, you know, pony up and deal with a game that costs 80 to 90 bucks, right? Especially if it's a AAA title, right? And a AAA title like Mario Kart as well. People play that shit a lot, you know? The people who are complaining about this, first of all, let me do a little character assassination on the people complaining about an $80 to $90 price tag for a game. They were either going to buy the game anyway, in which case clearly they can stomach paying 90 bucks for a game. Referring to the physical copy here, which I believe is, you know, better. I prefer physical media. You know? Or they just, like, aren't going to buy it, in which case, okay, cool. You didn't pay the 90 bucks for the game, right? What they want fundamentally, the people complaining about an $80 to $90 price tag for a AAA game, is just people complaining about wanting to have the cake and eat it too, right? Especially with the tariffs. You think that's just going to be 80 to 90 bucks? Look, people are going to get more and, like, way, way more they would be able to under socialism. Yeah, the problem isn't that, like, 80 to 90 bucks is a lot to pay for a game, because it really isn't. For a AAA game that you're probably going to sink a lot of time into, that's not a ton of money, you know? In fact, I remember in 2008, when Mario Kart Wii first came out, MSRP for a AAA game was 60 bucks. The price of games in real money has been declining because it has remained stagnant at the number value of 60 bucks, right? And now, of course, there's another problem there, that wages have stagnated. Wages have not been able to keep up with the price of essential shit, like not consumer goods. That's non-essential shit, excuse me. I mean, there's some consumer goods that it can be considered essential, like appliances and whatnot. But essential shit like housing, healthcare, whatever, has outpaced wages at a very problematic degree. However, consumer goods have remained relatively affordable. In fact, if anything, there's this really weird backwards relationship between the price of essentials, non-essentials, and wages, where consistently the wages of workers in America and elsewhere have been able to keep up, particularly in America, though, is what I'll talk about here, has been able to keep up with consumer goods, you know? people are able to afford. In fact, they're more easily able to afford now than they used to be. New game consoles, new games, books, other items that you would use for entertainment, board games, computer components, etc., which you could consider in many respects to be non-essential, right? You can live without those, right? There are plenty of people that don't have like a desktop computer and mostly rely on their smartphone. Smartphones being something I would consider essential. But the price for things like housing, for things like healthcare, have been rapidly increasing with no incentive to slow down, precisely because there's this weird perverse incentive structure where precisely because their goods are non-essential, like electronics and certain appliances and consumer goods, there is a sort of permission for those goods to not raise so much in price, because if they raise too much in the price tag, people will stop buying them, and then the market will respond. This is part of market economics, where if something gets too expensive, then the price can come back down because the demand for it will drop and people will stop buying it, right? But that only applies to non-essentials. The only, the thing that prevents this from applying to essentials, like housing and healthcare, is that they are essential. You die without them. So, if you can basically extort people for any amount of money, there's no incentive for the price to ever decrease, because people will go into massive amounts of debt to buy things like housing and whatever. Thus, you have this relationship where housing and healthcare get infinitely more expensive. Same thing with education. Higher education I would consider to be essential for modern society. That stuff gets more expensive because they know that people will pony up the money somehow anyway, even if they don't have the money. Whereas consumer goods are more pliable. They have an elastic demand. There is actually a point at which people were like, you know what? I guess I don't really need that anyway, so I won't buy it. And then as a result, maybe they don't sell as much. The price comes down, right? But now, because this weird relationship exists, it has also shaped the character of consumerism in America, where a lot of people just kind of accept that housing prices and healthcare and education are prohibitively expensive and shit themselves over a $30 price increase for AAA game releases. Motherfucker, you are spending 1,000 times that money on a hospital bill. You should be focusing on that. You should be focusing on the fact that your wages haven't increased in real terms since fucking 2009. That's the problem. And let's be real, with regards to the Switch price tag, $450 for a new game console is beyond reasonable. Like a budget PC costs about $600 to $700, right? And this is something that you can't take with you. The Switch 2 is portable. You can bring that shit on the road with you. It is frankly, I don't think Nintendo was going hard enough if they're being really spiteful about it, which it doesn't strike me as that. I don't think they are being spiteful. They usually reserve that for copyright hawking. That's where they spend all of their spite points. Does that make sense? Basically, what I'm saying is that people who are complaining about the price tag of the Switch 2 and Switch games, like the AAA releases, are fucking spoiled for choice on the non-essentials and have no fucking idea what the actual problem is that makes them complain about something being expensive, right? This is just treatler behavior. In fact, Nintendo has gone out of their way to soften the blow for people who have the Switch 1 but won't buy the Switch 2. Because usually what happens, right? What has become the norm in console gaming, or gaming in general, is that when new releases happen, they start phasing out support for the older releases. You could see this with everything from operating systems to video games to social media and stuff. That, it's kind of like a forced update. With phones as well. When Windows 11 dropped, Microsoft announced that in 2025, they were going to end support for Windows 10. There would be a forced update at a certain point where Windows 10 would no longer be supported, right? But Nintendo has said, yeah, we're still going to support the Nintendo Switch as a console. There's still going to be online services. You'll still be able to do all that shit. We're not going to, go and brick your Nintendo Switch. So if you don't have the money, don't sweat it. Just play your Switch games. And the Switch 2 is going to have backwards compatibility with the Switch 1, where you can play, if you have a Switch cart, you can play the game. Didn't they try to offer people an upgrade deal? I'm sure they did, because Nintendo's like one of the few companies in the gaming world that is actually still pretty consistent on their shit, and like not as ethically odious as other companies like EA and well, Microsoft, I guess. But regardless, if the sum total, let's just put it this way. The sum total of the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World, if you're going the route that I intend to go, which is you're not going to buy the bundle, you're just going to buy the Switch 2 and then get the physical copy, because I fucking hate digital media. You know, such and such as a service. Like, that's one of the things that I genuinely take issue with, the prominence of digital media, because they can just decide to brick something that you've already bought and limit the capacity to which you can use it. Like, that's a genuine issue. The fact that I bought this and there are still limits on like basically how I'm allowed to play it, if that makes sense. Regardless, the sum total of the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World not in the bundle is $450 plus $90, at least allegedly. We'll see how the tariffs affect it. It's probably going to look more like $2,000. So that's $540 in total, right? That is that's a 3-digit number, right? How much is your rent each month that is like draining you out of pocket, right? Rent in the United States, I've yet to see rent in a place that wasn't like the middle of nowhere that was less than $1,000 a month, right? And same with like insurance premiums, also like pretty expensive. Insurance kind of an extortion racket, so you could consider that essential. Medical bills, extremely expensive as well. Like I said, it's that backwards relationship where the shit that you don't need is super cheap, precisely because you don't need it, and there are like actual factors that can result in the price, you know, genuinely fluctuating. And then like the essential shit will run you into the ground. You know? What I'm saying is that if you're worrying about the Switch 2, you're, like, if you're complaining about the price of the Switch 2, you are a lumpen proletariat or bourgeoisie or something like that, because we've got bigger fucking problems, right? Because either you can afford to worry about the Switch and the Switch 2 price tag, in which case, fucking shut up. You have enough money to live. That's a better boat than most people are in. Or you can't actually afford that, and that's the point where it's like, motherfucker, you should be focusing on the fact that you don't get paid jack shit and your rent is like bleeding you to death, you know? I don't have very much patience for people who are like, when $450 for a game console is so expensive in 2025. Like, no, motherfucker, your wages just suck. You know? It's one of those consequences of the debt economy where nobody has enough money to buy anything, and they only realize it when they run up into something that they might perchance like not necessarily have to buy. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you can't afford your housing, you still have to pay rent, otherwise you get evicted. It does matter, you know, in that sense, it does matter whether you can afford, like, I don't know, the new game console, because you're not going to get evicted from your apartment. Our society with rent is like, suck it up, skill issue. Yeah, people consider rent the same way they should be considering the Switch 2. Like, right? Like, oh, my rent is fucking killing me, dude. And then people will be like, shut up, skill issue, pay your goddamn rent anyway. When they should be saying, shut up, skill issue, either buy the Switch or don't. It's a non-essential item. And they should be saying, I agree, your rent is too big, let's form a tenants union. You know? If your rent was lower, you'd be able to afford the Switch 2. If your fucking wages were higher, you'd be able to afford the Switch 2. And if you can afford the Switch 2, then shut up. Please. Honest to God. I don't have very much patience for that. Yeah, it is a systemic manifestation of that distraction, right? Your treats are too expensive. Never mind the fact that you can't afford the actual food. It's like, the treats are easy to get. The essentials are not. And that's a fucking problem. But everybody just talks about, like, the treats being expensive, because I feel like if I'm being more sympathetic, right, which I can be for a moment, it's like, come on, dude, just let me have this, right? And the answer is no. Of course they're not going to let you have that. You know, it's a company. Their interest is to make profit. You know? And you're getting mad at them doing it in a slightly more ethical way than what companies usually do, which is underpay their workers, fucking destroy the local environment, hollow out the local economy. Seriously, look at what, like, big box stores do to local areas. Big box stores that sell you the Switch 2 and, like, modern game consoles and shit. Look at what they've done to small town America, right? And you're getting upset that they're not doing that hard enough? Like, the everything being low prices all the time is how small town America fucking died from the supply side, you know? Because big companies can eat the lost profits of having low costs, and they just muscled all the small businesses out of the area. And small town America is still suffering and never recovered. I don't know. I've ranted for long enough about that. I don't think that's going to be a segment, because those thoughts were kind of half-baked. And you know, if I were to revisit the issue, I'd want to approach it with probably more tact. And stuff like that. And, in fact, I'll have to... I probably... What I wanted to do was incorporate how the tariffs are affecting the price of the Switch 2 and other goods and stuff in the US, but we haven't seen, like... I think it's not even available for pre-order in America yet because of the tariffs. They're still trying to figure out what would the costs be of, like, manufacturing, shipping, distribution with the new tariffs in place. Yeah, it's only been like a week. No, I can't do the gap jump anymore. God dang it. Slowest apocalypse? Yeah. We'll see the consequences eventually. Also, I could be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Switch was like $300 in 2006. What was the Switch? Here, hold on. Switch release price. Switch 1. Let's see, Switch 1. Original prices for the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, $300 for a console with no pack in game. $60 for games, with the designated tech demo game costing $50. $80 for a pair of Joy-Cons. I'm assuming that's separate because the console comes with Joy-Cons. And $70 for a Pro Controller. And everybody bought the Switch anyway. What is here? Let's see. The Switch 2 released in 2017. 2017 to 2025 inflation calculator. $300 in 2017 would be about $390 now. That's not even that big of a price increase. Remember, COVID happened, there was a lot of high inflation and stuff. The value of the dollar has actually decreased. Because that's how fucking inflation works. So it would be like, if this released in 2017, with the 2017 prices, there's probably be like, I don't know, fucking $340. which is not that much for a fucking home console. And they added a shit ton of upgrades to the Switch 2 in terms of like processing and visual capabilities. Like you can now have full HD when it's in mobile mode, like it's 1080p HD when it's not docked. There's honestly, it just strikes me as people, like, that's the biggest thing that people have to complain about. And like, there are way bigger things that people should be complaining about. It's just a waste. It's a waste of energy, and it, I think, reveals how stupid people are when they only feel their pocketbook when it's something that's $500 as opposed to something that's $5,000. And again, I can't 100% levy the blame on people for feeling that way, because on one hand it's like, dude, just let me have this, but then on the other hand, that sentiment has been specifically engineered because that we live in a extremely consumerist economy, right? That it relies on people spending money specifically that they don't have, which is very, very economically unhealthy. In fact, let's go back to 1996. I believe the N64 released with a $300 price tag in the 1990s. What's that cost now? Wow, look at that. $300 in the 1990s, in 1996, which game consoles were releasing for $300 or more back in the day, is $600 now. Right? Like, if anything, the Switch 2 is a lot cheaper than game consoles used to be. The problem, again, is that people's wages haven't kept up. Don't tell Nintendo to sell something to you for a lower price. Tell your fucking boss to pay you more money. Like, this is just a misdirection of your class consciousness. Seriously. And again, people should be more upset about the fact that, like, you get sick and then the doctor's like, that'll be $5,000, and then, you know, you go home to your fucking one-bedroom apartment in like, I don't know, maybe it's not even in downtown, and you look at the rent and it's $2,500, and now you're out $7,500 for the month, not including utilities and car expenses and whatever the fuck, right? People are being drained, like, of their blood, and like, the Nintendo Switch is like you pricked your finger a tiny bit. And people are complaining about their finger getting pricked. Like, brother, you have bigger problems. And like I said earlier, most of these people are going to buy the Switch 2 anyway. These are the same kind of people that bitched about how expensive the Switch was, and they all bought the Switch. Ay. I don't know. Look, it's just annoying. I feel like the, you know, spite being the great motivator, etc., has led me to complain about this for the better part of, I don't know, fucking 30 minutes. But I don't want to, I don't feel like draining that well any longer. For reasons why my mom died. Yeah, it's why my granddad died too. I think I've told that story on stream before. How, like, the chemo treatments were like tens of thousands of dollars or something. And like, we couldn't afford to get like an optimally timed like treatment plan or something. There was so much like corporate chicanery and bullshit, like about like whether or not insurance would cover anything. And as a result, the cancer metastasized and he died. And of course, I'm oversimplifying because I was like 15. But, you know. Oh no. Yeah, it's not like, Poor bastard. Oops. That tree. You went for it. I respect that. I think I know where I want to use this mushroom. And it's right here. Yes, that's good. Okay. That was an incredible shock. Revolution happens, I swear Luigi will become president. Luigi is going to be a, like, figurehead of whatever sort of social movements come. Like, it's already happening. I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes even some liberals at, like, some of the hands-off protests were wearing hats that read deny, defend, depose. Which is, you know, what was written on the bullet casing. You know? By people I mean the rich. Yeah, true. They're not gonna let that happen though. They are greasing the wheels so fucking hard to convict Luigi Mangione and give him the death sentence, right? Like he first and foremost, he committed a murder, which is a state crime. Allegedly, he committed a murder, which is a state crime. They straight up, they fucking made up the terrorism charges. There's absolutely no legal evidence to substantiate that that was an act of terrorism, what he did. An act of murder, yes. Act of terrorism, no. They only came up with the terrorism bullshit so they could do it as a federal charge, because in the state of New York, you can't get the death penalty. They straight up, they saw that and they were like, we want to kill this fucker. And then they made up all the legal justifications after the fact. It doesn't matter how many laws they break, they're gonna put his ass in the box and they're gonna kill him. You know? They've already decided the outcome of his trial. I think any trial that he does get will just be like, maybe not a show trial per se, but definitely just procedural rigmarole that they kind of have to do to check all the boxes. You know? Does that make sense? JoJo's main character, that's true. If the outcome is the same regardless, what happens is a show trial. I mean, that's true. Like in a technical sense, yes, it is a show trial because like the outcome has already been determined beforehand. What I mean to say is it might not be as like reality TV-esque as a show trial. They may still be trying to put more of a veneer of legitimacy on it. So they'll check all the boxes and stuff. What I'm saying is it might not be full kangaroo court mode. It might not be purely for the cameras, but yes, it will be a sort of show trial where like they've already decided that like his ass is getting killed for this. So ultimately, it doesn't matter which laws they broke or which laws he broke or which laws he in fact didn't break. They're just gonna go ahead with it. Seen the video where I'm not sure I understand. Prisoners were like, he's my homie. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're gonna love him in prison. And I mean that like he's gonna have so much fucking clout in the big house. the one bit of news I did want to mention is that I saw there was a military buildup in the Middle East. And by the Middle East, I mean the Persian Gulf. And by military buildup, I mean like warplanes, stealth bombers, cargo, loading onto the aircraft carriers and all that shit. Stuff that indicates that America might actually invade Iran or something. Classic empire building move. Invade a mountainous and well-defended country in the Middle East for no reason at all. Nothing could possibly go wrong as a result of this. This was definitely not the graveyard of previous empires when they did the same thing in previous centuries. You know. Haha. For fun, smiley face. I'm not getting drafted. If they ever did the draft right now, the revolution would happen immediately. Oh yeah, the public would not be happy with the draft, like not even remotely, which is kind of why I hope they do it. It would be incredibly funny. Like, the more the administration shoots itself in the foot, the better. Like, oh, Mr. Trump, epic and red-pilled and anti-war and whatever, is invading Iran and like puts out a draft and shit. People will probably, like, I know for a fact that Trump supporters will defend him up until it affects them specifically, you know? Like, until they get the letter in the mail that they've been drafted, they're not gonna oppose any of that. So, you know. Yeah, news would be like, okay, it's time to punch everybody in the face multiple times in the White House until they, you know, stop moving or something. Luckily, though, I can't be drafted because I'm non-binary. Seriously, I think as a result of one of Trump's own executive orders that he signed, I'm exempt from the draft because I'm trans and therefore banned from the military. Incredibly funny, like, turn of fate. But, you know, we take those. I'm not dying for this fucking government in the mountains of Iran or something. You know? Drafting so villainous is used in stories like a tragic backstory. Like, yeah, oh, I was drafted. Like, I didn't want to go to war, but they fucking sent me to war anyway. Yeah. The fuck happened to that guy? So autistic about it counts as a mental disease. The only good thing to come out of that, yeah, if you're autistic, then the government might be like, yeah, well, you're defective, so you can't be in the military. You'd be like, oh no. Anyways, good luck out there, you fuckers. Okay, I'm gonna go wide. Oh, you fucker. Went wide and I was punished for it. Okay. One mushroom? That's kind of lame. Oh, what happened to him? Oh no. Give me my mushroom. Okay. True being femboy while doing it. Be gay and do crime. Many such cases. I mean, I'm kind of like, you know how sometimes you like, you just have the 1,000-yard stare? You're just sitting there like, fuck. That's kind of what this has me in a state of right now. Because, like, what? It's kind of like, at a moment like this, what the fuck can I say? America's, like, collapsing around us. You know, the government is deciding to go to war with Iran, one of the most well-defended countries in the world. The entire social state, the entire administrative state is collapsing because the Trump administration is ripping it apart. And like, there's a 104% tariff on our biggest trading partner, and it's like, fucking, what do I even say? It's just like, it's just so Jover, I guess. That's all I can say, really. Hey, how have you been, bro? Kakira, this is, first time I've seen you in chat, I guess. I don't remember you. And there's the first time chat message next to your name, but welcome back. I guess I'll trust that you've been here before under a different username. Happy Hump Day. Happy Hump Day to you, too. You imagine the storyline in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, people would be like, oh, haha, JoJo's so goofy and, like, fantastical. Nobody would believe that it could be, like, real or anything. Knowing how this... do you also stream on other platforms? No, I'm actually not legally allowed to. Since I'm a Twitch affiliate, I can only stream on Twitch. Otherwise, they revoke my affiliate status, and I can no longer, you know, I can't have custom emotes or anything. I mean, I know they probably won't, but I'd rather err on the side of caution there. I have done, like, 1 or 2 streams on YouTube when Twitch was, like, down, but generally I don't. Like, I actually, when I became an affiliate, I actually read the terms of the contract, just because I was like, okay, is there anything I need to do? And they were like, yeah, don't stream on other platforms because we will cancel your contract or something. It's like, well, okay, I don't want that. If the government wasn't so self-destructive, it would catch you eventually. Yeah, probably. Honestly, the fact that the government is really fucking incompetent is our best, the best thing we have going for us right now. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. If you're an affiliate on Twitch, you're not allowed to stream on, like, YouTube or wherever. It's kind of dumb, but I guess, like, I don't know. They want to keep the talent on Twitch where they can make more money off of them. As self-destructive as Dio from JoJo. Sure. I don't know how I would even compare those two, but yeah, sure. I'm gonna use one of these here. Do that. And then save these two. Please don't let there be a shock. Otherwise, I'm fucked. Oh my god, what a bomb snipe. And I got 6th because of that. Damn. Well, look, that was a good ending otherwise. I did most of that ending right, I think. It's funny when people look at the main character of Pokemon Mystery Dungeons now, and they're like, oh, gosh, I wish that was me. I mean, yeah, I've done that before. You know, look at Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You could fucking... You go explore dungeons and shit. You make enough... You have your own place free and clear. You know, you have basically as much food as you need. Like, fucking... Yeah, it literally is. It's like, take me away from this, like, goofy-ass, collapsing society-ass looking... bullshit. Put me in the Pokemon world, Chief. Put me in, Coach. Let me explore the fucking Dark Crater or whatever. You know? You're telling me this job will pay me, like, a lot of money, but I don't need to spend it on rent because rent, like, doesn't exist in the Pokemon world? Sick. Sign me up. Yeah, giving a whole nother meaning to escapism there. Dude, I'm just getting fucking hassled this session. What the fuck is going on? It's fine. It's only lap 1. What's up, Mehmet? Ah, he tried to troll me a little bit. I see you. This is kind of a front-running track. It's got one big shortcut. Let me use this right here. There we go. Okay, I'm back in the pack. We're back in it. We're good. We're good. Another golden mushroom. I have a feeling a shock is about to happen pretty soon, so I'll probably just default to like using this in the same spot. But if I get shocked, it's not a huge deal because again, it's lap 2. Yeah, see, told you. I'm intense, so I'm gonna get like good items and stuff. Funny, the person Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is like, let me go back, and we're like, I would do anything not to go back. Yeah. That's in Red and Blue Rescue Team. The main character is a human, and they're like, I want to go back to the human world or something. And then they realize, like, well, you know, Pokemon World ain't so bad. But then, like, realistically, if I'm in the Pokemon World, see ya. I'm fucking staying there, dude, you know? Okay, now I really need an item. 3 mushrooms, that's not bad. And I need another item, so I'll grab that. Roof rooms again. Still not bad. If a shock happens, I'm probably fucked. Otherwise, I'm going to get, like, a middle spot, and that's probably fine. Yeah, okay. I'm not racing very well today, if it wasn't already clear. I think for the rest of the stream, I'm probably going to focus more on just, like, shooting the shit and, like, racing. Because it's like, what else is currently happening? The stock market is crashing. The whole world economy is going with it. Like, yeah, I kind of know that already. And I know what that means, too, you know? So funny. I'll be like, wait, we keep most of the money we earn. Oh my god. In Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? Yeah, it's like, oh, wow. See all this money I'm getting each week, each month? I actually get to keep most of that. You know, I spend some of it on food, and then the rest of it I just do whatever with. Sick! You know? Yeah, big fan of that. Big fan of that. Are you fucking kidding me? CNBC. Trump tariffs dropped to 10% universal rate for countries except China for 90 days. Well, that doesn't matter, right? China's tariff rate will jump to 125% effective immediately. Nice. So it's a 10% tariff on everybody except China, which is 125%. But they're not changing our tariffs on us, so that's going to basically stay the same. They're still not going to trade with us is the thing. Golden mushroom, that's pretty good. Unless the shock happens soon, which, I mean, it might. I feel like half of the people here are stream sniping. With the, I don't know if you've seen, what was it? Mehmet, and then FYM, I lost, and then this guy. Like, they are gunning for me, dude. Yeah, I actually got the item. That's good. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon would be like... What? I don't get it. What? I don't get what you're saying. I feel like autocorrect probably murdered that sentence. Or Siri, whichever one you're using. He tried for it. Oh my god, I'm not dead! That was crazy. Oh. Society couldn't be that bad. Oh, yeah. Seriously, you tell some people, like, people about some shit that's happening in like, the world right now. Like, I genuinely don't think... You go to fantasy worlds, you could tell them this shit, and they wouldn't believe you. Yeah, spend 90% of your money to not die instantly. Legitimately, who the fuck, like, you get isekai'd, right, to fucking anime world or Pokemon world or wherever, and you're like, yeah, where I come from, you can make, like, 70,000 money per year, and you have to pay 90% of it not to die instantly from, like, exposure to the elements, and then the other... Whatever you have left, you have to spend on other shit, and then you still have to spend money and go into debt for everything. They wouldn't believe you. Nobody would believe you if they lived in a, like, more reasonable world. Legitimately, even if you just fucking, like, you go back to 50 years ago and you tell somebody about the absolute state that society's in right now, I don't think they'd believe you. And frankly, I feel like they'd be right not to believe you, because they're like, dog, that is disastrous. You know? I'm getting farmed, by the way. Don't know if you've noticed. Getting absolutely farmed. Living in a society where these problems don't exist would actually make me cry, and then they'd look at me funny. Yeah. I feel like I'd have a similar reaction, like, oh my god, you can actually, like, live here, kinda. Give me this item. 3 mushrooms? We take those. Or I could just get redded. That's cool too. Everybody's trying to do the double shortcut. Me, big brain, just stick with the single cut. Consistent, easy. And don't have to deal with the hassle. So, nice. Kind of goofy ending section, but whatever, it works out. Yeah, if the fucking plot point in the story comes where it's like, okay, time to go back to your world, I'd be like, no, fuck no, let me stay here. I don't want to leave. Oh, I almost got, like, the Taz thing. Ah! That was just, like, very close to me just fucking dying. Okay. Shock dodge? Question mark? No, wait, the shock happened recently, so it can't happen again. Why? So many adults, what? Like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series? I mean, maybe. It's also just really, you know, it's a fun game, you know? All right, second place. Okay, didn't get farmed that race because I was very smart about my driving decisions, except for the one time that I went for the single cut when I was small. But that worked out, so the rest of the race worked out pretty well as well. So you get lucky with what type of body you end up with. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you know. Like, I'd kind of hate to be stuck in Carnivine's body or whatever the fuck. You know, one of those Pokemon. If I was like a Grovyle or a Turtwig or something, I'd probably be pretty happy. I know that grass types are ass types, guys. Like, I know, grass types suck, but I like them, so have you considered that one, actually? Or Pokemon's a grass snake. Oh, yeah, Superior. Like Snivy. Servine Superior. Be a nightmare to live as? Maybe. Yeah. He has like those arm things. That's true. It's also shown though in the Pokemon series that they use like the move Vine Whip. They can use the vines to like grab stuff. You know, so it's like, oh no, I don't have hands. I can't like, I don't know, pick up this plate of food. You still can. You have your vines that you can use for that. That's what I meant. Oh, yeah, okay. Now, this is not a front-running track, but I'm going to try to front-run it anyways, because it would be really funny if I front-ran the track and then won. Be nice not to hear about Republicans destroying the world every single minute. Yeah, that would be nice, actually. I would like that quite a lot. Nice try, idiot. He went for it. No, I fucking swerved to avoid the box because I'm dumb. I did get that mushroom, though, which makes me feel pretty smart. Okay. I need a box here. Okay. No! Get fucked, whoever is up there. Okay. Just kind of threw that out of being mad. No, I didn't get a box again. Dang. No, and he fucking... Congrats, you got your stream snipe, I guess. Okay, give me this. Oh, he hit both. The poor bastard. He hit both of those. Alright, I'm gonna just use this here. Use the shock, whoever has it. Triple greens. People must be holding, like, mushrooms and stuff. If I'm getting this in 6th place. Oh, got him! Yeah, 1 mushroom. Well, I mean, I'm in 5th now, so that's more characteristic. What is your YouTube homepage like? I usually don't pay that much attention to my YouTube homepage for too long. Like, legitimately, yeah, mine shows me some absolutely cursed shit as well. I try not to linger there for too long because I know it's literally like designed to make me have more brain rot. So I try to avoid that shit. You know? Like here, I can look at it right now. The Vouch stream, which I will probably watch later. Yeah, the tariffs are somehow paused but also raised. I don't fucking know. Like, most of them are paused except for the China tariffs. And then, what else? Apollo 18 deleted scenes because I watched that movie just like this morning. FNAF fan game shit. Hungrybox versus AMSA at Eggdog. On Halloween, it showed me Ghost Furry board game. That is extremely cursed. Clips from The Boys, Balatro. I see clips from The Boys sometimes, but I don't care about the show. Video about the downfall of Sprint. That actually might be kind of interesting. Video about Kazuya players in Smash Ultimate. I don't watch that much Smash Ultimate shit. I don't know why they're showing me that. TF2 video, Ocean's 11. Stuff from Breaking Bad, despite the fact that I've never watched a Breaking Bad clip in my life, probably. Honestly, I don't know how YouTube, like, hooks up this shit. Like, some of it's obviously based off of stuff that I've watched. But, like, a lot of it clearly just isn't. Probably because you talk about it. But, oh, that's possible as well. Yeah. Like, me talking about it leads YouTube to be like, write that shit down, and then they show it to me later. Yeah. That would explain a decent bit. Ow. It's also interesting how fascinating the world of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon can be compared to the normal one. Yeah, I actually do feel like the world of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is a lot more interesting than the main series Pokemon games. And like the world and the world building that goes on there. Okay. That can't be a real shortcut. Yeah, no, it's not. I don't know why people keep going for that. It's not real. I've actually never seen anybody make it, and it's not a respawn thing because you lose a ton of time. I saw that King Boo on the minimap going for it. He was like 3 seconds ahead of me, and then when he respawned, I was right up next to him. Why do people do that? I actually don't get it. Is it like RNG manipulation? Alright, I'm going to use this Mega right about here. I'm going to chain it. Yeah. Fifth place. Not bad. Mostly due to the fact that human superiority thing kind of doesn't exist. Yeah, that's true. To the extent that that humans exist in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon world, it's implied that they're on the same level as Pokemon. You know, in Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time and Darkness and Sky, it's implied that you as a human were just exploration partners with Grovyle. Not like you were a Pokemon trainer; you were exploration partners. You know, which is a different. Like, I feel like the implied relationship there is a lot different. And, like, cooler. Probably have kinks that we couldn't even conceive of. Yeah, probably. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna just... Do that. Okay. I've seen people go for the rock hop online, and honestly, that's like unhinged to me. I don't know why they would do that. Why what? Oh, launch into the lava? That's a shortcut. If you launch into the lava at that exact spot, if you manage to touch the rock or get close enough to the other side, it actually respawns you on the other side, and you skip the turn. Even if you fall off, it's faster. I can show it again, assuming the shock doesn't happen, but it might. Or, haha. Get fucked, everybody. Fell out of bounds like 5 times. Here, look. I can't show it because I don't have a mushroom. But on the right there, there's a spot where if you launch off with enough speed and reach the rock right to my right there, you can hit that wall and respawn right before that item box that I just got. And it saves a ton of time. But now I need another mushroom so I can do it again and show you. It's also a really consistent shortcut because you can do it all 3 laps online. Yes, golden mushroom. Okay, that's perfect. Let's see, I think you start using it here. Yeah. See, look, how it says I went from 7th to 1st? That's because I respawn over here, and now I get to skip that whole turn. And because of that shortcut, instead of getting, like, last place, I'm gonna get 3rd. Despite how poorly I raced that race. I did the shortcut 2 laps out of 3, and as a result, there you go. First Pokemon game mentions war? Yeah. Yeah, Lieutenant Surge was a soldier. And now he spends his time electrocuting children half to death. God, the early Pokemon games were kind of fucked up. Isn't there, like, certain type of Pokemon that can win war single-handedly? I don't fucking know. I mean, if there's a kind of Pokemon that can basically act like a nuke, then yeah, I guess that answers the question. But, like, I don't know. YouTube brainwashes everybody. Like, guys, the war is over. I win, you lose, idiot. And then it's like, oh, okay. That famous line where the line between humans and Pokemon were blurry, or something like that. Yeah, I remember that. I think that was that Generation 6 or something? I don't know. Oh, wow. Daisy got bumped really bad. Basically any legend. Yeah, basically any legendary would mop the floor on the battlefield. Like, I don't know. I feel like in the Pokemon world, you get to the nuclear stage of the arms race pretty damn quick. You know? Yay, 4 for 4. And I dodged the POW. Nice. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those movies where legendaries fight each other. It's like, wow, this could fucking kill everybody. Just gonna use this here. It's kind of crazy that a faithful recreation of this track, this is GBA Bowser Castles 4, leads to it being so long that it has to be only 2 laps long. So how close I fucking cut that. It's only possible with the Mach bike, to my knowledge. Ooh, almost. There you go. Have that red shell. Alright. Second place. Remember there's a certain track that was only one lap? Yeah, the N64 Rainbow Road used to have a sort of remake or like modified version in this game. It was one of the first tracks in CGGP that they made only one lap because it was so long. And for a while, it was kind of popular to make tracks that were long enough that you made them only one lap. And occasionally, those kind of tracks still get into certain custom track packs. I kind of have a soft spot for them because it allows people to make really long tracks that are very scenic, but still not have them be overly long. Like, I think one of my favorites was a track called Seaside Resort. Old school custom track. God, it's kind of crazy that that's old school now. But it was about one lap. It was one lap long. And with that one lap, it was about 2 minutes, which is pretty reasonable for a track. Imagine a Mario Kart mod where it randomizes your loadout mid-game, like mid-race. That would be unhinged. I'd go for that, though. I could see myself doing a couple races of that. It would probably get disorienting really fucking fast, though. We haven't gotten Dry Ruins picked yet. I've noticed this. They got tired of me winning on Dry Ruins, so they stopped picking it. They're trying to keep your boy down. Thought for sure you'd have like a banana or something. Oh well. I'm taking really horrid lines right now, but that's fine. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Nice. Oh no. I had a decent little front run in first place while it was still going, but whatever. Oh no, poor Luigi. I think that was his own green shell, and then I get bombed for trying to do that shortcut there. Okay. Now that I'm in a back spot, though, I can get a good item. That's a pretty good item. Get everybody after this set of boxes, so I can do this! Oh no, I've tried to hop the other way. The game gave me a spin drift when I didn't want it. The fuck? I was so well set up. Alright. I can't understand in zombie stories how the government will never lose. I don't know. I don't usually watch zombie stories. I don't really care about zombie stories. I'll be real. You know? Never supposed to be there. Oh, okay, okay. I can understand in zombie movies how the government would... Oh, okay, wait. How the government will ever lose. Unless it's the Republic. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, I think I get it. But again, I don't really care that much about zombie stories. I don't watch... zombie movies or anything like that. Media that involves zombies. Get owned, idiots. Holy shit, I got like 2 or 3 people with that. That's pretty nice. Ah, don't hit me. Okay. Oh, I might have wheelie bumped him. I can't believe I wheelie bumped a guy who has revolving green shells and didn't get completely fucked up. Nice try. With the guy with the green shells. That's gonna hit somebody. Or not? That's kind of crazy. It didn't hit anybody. Dang. But it hit me. Lucky that I only got the less bad hitbox from that bomb. Okay. I need an item here. Okay. Go, 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 go. Third place? Alright. They're spinning, so there's always a chance of that happening. Yeah. Would be your modern version of the vampire in your image? I don't know. See, the part of the problem I have with vampire movies, the problem I have with the reason I just don't watch them. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with watching them and enjoying them and shit like that. I just feel like it's not like that interesting. It's just like the fear of the poor. The unwashed, unclean, like, diseased masses will bite you and infect you with, I don't know, that. It just doesn't usually, zombie movies don't typically have anything, like, very interesting to say. Yeah, I mean, like, I can only say, like, oh yeah, my equivalent of zombies would be zombies. I feel like it's a phenomenon only comparable to itself. You know, it's perfectly valid, like, to enjoy that stuff, and I enjoy some stuff that has like overlap with zombie movies. That is to say, stuff that preys on your fear of like infectious disease and shit like that. Vampires are the opposite. Well, kind of. But I typically go for stuff that's like The Thing, you know, where The Thing isn't necessarily. It's not a zombie movie. It's much more personal and intimate and about, like, contamination and isolation. Yeah, literally Among Us. Yeah, basically, for all of the fucking Zoomers out there, take Among Us and make it into, like, a fucking terrifying story about isolation and like, body horror, and there's gore everywhere, and you have The Thing. It's a pretty good movie. But, like, you're not one of the players in the game. You would have to just watch as everything goes to shit. I'm gonna use this here. What? That is a crazy tight line that the bullet takes there. He had to specifically maneuver that to the right, I think, to hit me. Virus gets screwed over because it's silver powered? What? Oh, because it's so overpowered? I didn't get any of those mushrooms, which is unfortunate, but ultimately I think fine. Gonna get a back spot, probably, especially if somebody has half a mind to stream snipe, like no better. Maybe not. Okay, give me this. Ah, you tried to fucking get me with that, huh? Well, lucky you, I shock dodge you, so I can get fourth. If Virus was good at being a spy, there would be no movie. I guess so. The thing tries its best, but it still doesn't have like a full knowledge of. I think the reason it loses is just because like the humans are curious and suspicious, right? Like the humans start to suspect something's off when they go to the Norwegian camp, right? And like the dog is the dog thing has been doing a perfectly good job of like blending in and stuff. But then they find that like crazy amalgamation thing with the guy that has the splitting face and all the different hands and whatever. And they're like, what the fuck is this? It's a small intellect in the beginning. I don't think that's true necessarily. I think it picked the wrong time. You know, to assimilate the dogs and shit like that. Genuinely, I think that it was expecting people to not be up, because when McCready is like when Kurt Russell's character McCready like finds the thing first, it's like the middle of the night, you know. Finally, we got dry ruins. Very nice indeed. Alright, you can have that, I guess. Damn it, he got me with the banana there, so I couldn't do the thing. Ooh, I can do the shortcut. Yes. Nice. Didn't get it quite perfect, but that's really good nonetheless. Okay. Alright. That still works out. Barely didn't hit that fake item. Got the sketchiest wall glitch I've ever seen, and I'm still in it. Jesus. You guys remember in the Mini Beast video, this is a while ago, but you know, you might have seen it uploaded to YouTube, when I was talking about how like I can be in these rooms like fucking up people with more VR than me and then getting fucked up by people with like 7,000 or 8,000. That's what this feels like right now. Maybe the kids are just goated with the sauce in Mario Kart Wii right now. Certainly what it feels like anyways. Let's try. I got a better wall glitch. Oh. Lost my green shell. It's okay. Oh, he tried to go for the fucking... He tried to go for the fucking shortcut there. People who download mods tend to be tryhards? Not necessarily. You know? It is possible that some of these guys are smurfing as well, but yeah. The thing is so strong. I'm surprised it ever got stuck in the ice. I mean, it got thrown from the crash, right? And we know it's vulnerable to the cold. It could have crawled out, too. I hate to be a 5-year-old in this timeline. The Mario Kart timeline, or what? In real life? Oh, yeah, that would suck. I feel kind of bad for the kids that are growing up right now. Because education's kind of fucked. Everything else is very fucked. Imagine the thing virus in Pokemon. You mean Ditto? I jest. Yeah, that'd be fucking terrifying. Just imagine the thing virus generally. That shit is like extremely uncomfortable. You know? I mean, there's a reason they call it body horror, because it like imitates you so perfectly that you know, there's a lot of ambiguity whether you lose your sense of self or whether something else happens. I don't know. Oh, they actually fixed this. This was different than the last time I remember seeing this track. Okay. Alright. Somebody got fucked up by that green shell. Well, it was a super sketchy mushroom, but I made it work. Triple green's alright, I'm marginally safe. Okay. Jeez, this is a very, very tense race right now. I've learned that it might be a good idea to just not trick off of those little ramps leading up to the mushrooms. Okay. Didn't realize that was an item there. Holy shit! Ah, no! The one mistake! Come on, dude. No, and I got target shocked! In 9th place? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I raced that so, like, no mistakes that race, and I got fucked. Seriously, you could count the amount of mistakes I made probably on one hand, if that. And none of them were major mistakes, either. Make for a good story. You get superpowers to make it even scarier. I mean, it already kind of has those powers. Let me search this again. Tariffs today. Trump pauses reciprocal tariffs. Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Except for the tariffs on China. Again, NBC News. Shoutouts. Fuck. More fake news for... No, Trump himself said this. He said we're pausing the reciprocal tariffs to negotiate with these various countries, except for China. China's been really unfair, frankly, to the United States. So we're keeping our duties on them at 125%. Either way, though, yeah, it probably is being done for the benefit of the stock market because they want line to go up, kind of. I swear, half of what's going wrong is just my buttons not responding to the moves that my fingers are making. Like, I got wheelie locked there, and that's why I hit the wall. It wasn't like me not paying attention or anything. Alright. I'll just start using this here, I guess. Even though there's a boost panel coming up. Give me the box? Yes. Okay. I'll use this here, because I think it gets me most of the way to the cannon. I didn't hit him. Okay, good. That was a very narrow margin there. Ooh, okay. Took that really tight. Three red shells? Okay, I'm kind of protected. Gonna maybe try to get rid of these. Okay, yeah, definitely gonna try to get rid of these. Ha! Sniped second place. Got him. Games have been really testing your luck? Yeah. Well, I guess I passed the test at that point. I got second place, which is nice. At this rate, I think I might become the Joker. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, quickly, the more shit happens to this effect, like, the tariffs are on, the tariffs are paused. The tariffs are on, the tariffs are paused. Fucking, who among us is not currently going Joker mode right now? Announcement came hours after Trump appeared to be digging and telling Americans be cool in his Truth Social post, insisting everything's going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. Hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the U.S. to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, blah, 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 something. Bro. It is not clear what prompted Trump to change his mind. He suggested not long ago that the tariffs could be permanent, but a growing chorus of his allies and business leaders came out publicly against the tariffs, including Elon Musk. That's probably what changed his mind. So instead of seeing the stock market actually, like, decline, we're just going to see it becoming incredibly volatile, and it's like, oh, man. I think he's just a liquid at this point. Yeah, I guess. Somebody said it really well that, like, Trump is kind of like Joe Rogan, in that he just kind of agrees with whoever he talked to last. You know? So, who, like, he's going to be making it major... He's like a dementia-riddled grandpa, and he's making major decisions about the United States based on whoever the fuck he had, like, a casual conversation with last in a severely mentally impaired state. Really close to his deathbed, I just already realized it. Yeah. Nudge me to the left, bullet, please. Okay, at least it got me around that turn. That's good. And I got shocked. I'll take this mushroom, thank you. Want to die at full mental capacity. Yeah, dementia and like Alzheimer's and shit sounds like a really, really fucking horrifying and like torturous experience, you know? Get me through here. Okay. No! Ah! I had a feeling that something was gonna happen. Seemed like it was about due. Alright, give me this item. Or don't. Give me this one too. That's good. Fucking hell, man. I want to be the thing that's like, hey, look, that thing used to be human. What the fuck is going on? 90-day pause on tariffs. Great, cool. Looks like something's eating. Yeah, I've had family members who have had dementia. It's not pleasant. I had a feeling they were just gonna keep doing this. They're like, the cycle thus far, it's happened 3 times. February, March, and now April. The Trump administration has been like, okay, tariffs. We're putting tariffs on like every country ever, right? Reciprocal tariffs, fucking trade deficit something tariffs, like 40% tariff, sure, fuck it, whatever, right? And then like tariffs on China. And then like over time, it's just like, just kidding. We're not actually doing the tariffs. Except for some of them, right? And like some of the tariffs remain in place. You know, like they keep saying just kidding, but they can't actually say just kidding because they've already done like those tariffs, and other countries have already put tariffs on us, and I think they're right to. And like those tariffs aren't going away, even if we say haha just kidding, we're no longer doing our tariffs. And then of course that like besides that, there are some tariffs that they didn't say just kidding with, like the tariffs on China. 125%, that effectively ends any trading relationship that we had with China. You know? Yeah, because other countries aren't spineless bitches and also aren't bipolar. This is what I was going to say. This is so much worse than a friend who can't decide what to order. This is like your friend who has bipolar disorder. Or something like that, and they're acting super erratically, and like even if they don't end up doing anything outright harmful, it's like I don't fucking know what they're gonna do. They're completely unpredictable. I don't know like whether they're gonna hurt themselves or something like that, because they keep saying that they are and then they don't, you know. And if I call their bluff on it every single time, like you run the risk of one day them actually like going through with some incredibly destructive shit, and then like now everybody's worse off for it, right? Shortcut time. Aha. Wow, those guys were way up there. I have a feeling that those guys are Smurfs. Yeah, like with The Boy Who Cried Wolf, you always have to check. And it's not even apt to The Boy Who Cried Wolf, because when with The Boy Who Cried Wolf, there actually was a wolf. People just didn't believe it. Bad actors will always destroy systems. Yeah. That's why you gotta be vigilant. And that's what, honestly, I feel like there has to be some kind of way to build up a systemic resistance to bad actors. I mean, there is. We know historically that there is a way to build systemic resistance. The problem is that systemic resistance to bad faith actors taking over an entire country, an entire economic system, has to be actively enforced. You have to be like, you have to act as though you're always in a set of circumstances where bad faith actors will be at play, right? Yeah, literally, those systems, those guardrails decayed because the Democrats didn't bother to maintain them, because they literally believe that they are self-maintaining and self-propagating or some shit like that. You know? It's super frustrating, and... well, it's just super frustrating. I would run the risk of repeating myself. Anyways. I didn't even get to say thank you to the person who followed a couple days ago. AshKitty4444. There were 4 4s in that username. Thank you for the follow. I will now raid somebody after having a mixed session of Mario Kart. Cody Schwab going for box Grandmaster. That's the wrong prefix. Raid Cody Schwab. There we go. Nice. So talking about the Pokemon universe we made up last time, I'm sad that it doesn't exist. Yeah, that would be really nice if I could just live in that world. I'm gonna go fantasize about that now. See you next time.